they have apples, you have oranges, and both are okay. It's okay to have both. So teaching women that comparison, and that quote comes directly from Theodore Roosevelt, teaching women that comparison is toxic. It causes so many other deficiencies in our life, instead of us just loving and appreciating who we are and not comparing ourselves to others.
Hey guys, if you're like me, you've always had a desire to do more. And deep inside, you've known there's a way and a possibility for you to achieve your dreams, the lifestyle, and achieve the freedom you've always wanted. Because we have what it takes to get things done and learn from others and get the mindset to achieve the dreams we've always wanted. Welcome to SB Warriors. Hey, what's up, guys? Today I'm here with Tamika Michelle, and she is a life coach specializing in helping women. Tamika, what is up and what is your mission?
Hey, how are you guys doing? So thank you, first of all, thank you so much. I always count it an honor and a privilege to be able to share my mission, share kind of my vision to the world and on other people's platforms. So I so appreciate you. Thank you so much. And my mission is truly to live a life to inspire and not impress. A lot of us with social media and just with the world that we live in a very filtered world. And I want to teach women and teach just people in general that we can live filter-free lives, and we can live lives more authentic and transparent, where we're impacting people and not trying to impress.
Interesting. So when you're saying you help women and kind of like they're not being their authentic self, that implies several layers there, a little bit deep. Anything that you're noticing a pattern on? Because we're 2020 right now, so what are you kind of experiencing or kind of touching upon?
Yeah, so I think with the boom of social media, it has really caused people to live a highlight reel life instead of just being completely authentic, so we show people what we want them to see. And a lot of times what's happening is we're taking our social media presence, and we're even trying to filter our real lives. So instead of us, being authentic people, we're living a highlight reel life, which is causing really high anxiety, high depression. It's just causing a lot of it's kind of a domino effect, if you will, because we're not being authentically ourselves.
So is this something that you experienced firsthand and then noticed hey, I'm not the only one doing this? How did you come into this kind of this niche of dealing with this problem, I guess, that we currently have out of social media?
Yeah, so honestly, it's actually been the reverse, because and I don't know where it came from or how it happened. I mean, it has definitely been a process for me to live an authentic life. But I noticed, because I've always been so transparent and authentic, it bothered other people. So I would get people to tell me, oh, you share too much, or you're too real, or even people would assume that my authenticity was fake, because people are so used to filtered, and fake news or fake, So yeah. Because I had this experience of people kind of questioning me, it made me think wow, so the vast majority of people are actually living fake, they're being filtered, they're not being transparent, but people are so attracted to me because of my transparency. So I thought, well, what a great thing to do, to teach people that this is doable. We can all be this way.
So if you're noticing that, is it with your clients specifically, or are you noticing this across the trend, and then you started attracting clients because you are who you are?
It's definitely across the board. With men, women, especially, I do feel like women have a harder time with this. And because of me living a transparent and authentic life, it caused me to attract people and attract women to want to follow in my footsteps, for lack of better words.
Okay. So what would be one of the things that you noticed, hey, a lot of women tend to do this and how to combat that?
Okay, so a lot of women tend to compare themselves to other women, to other people in general. And I think the way that we combat that is we realize that comparison is the thief of all joy. So if we're constantly trying to compare our apples to their oranges, we will never be happy. You know, they have apples, you have oranges, and both are okay. It's okay to have both. So teaching women that comparison and that quote comes directly from Theodore Roosevelt, teaching women that comparison is toxic. You know, it causes so many other deficiencies in our life instead of us just you know, loving and appreciating who we are and not comparing ourselves to others.
Well, it sounds easier said than done, because I think throughout history we always compare ourselves to other people. So it sounds like you help guide those people. And what do you specifically do to help take someone out of a state of comparison to take them to another place that's better for themselves?
Yeah, you know, you're absolutely right. It has been a tricky thing that we've always done. I think with the boom of social media, it's become more relevant. It's become something that we're doing more often. And so I have a lot of tools and resources that I use to help. You know, it's not something that goes away completely, but it's something that we can minimize. So I have a 6-week coaching program because I believe that once you know yourself, it's easier, you know, when you know and actually love yourself. So I have a Renew You 6-week program that I walk women through, really knowing who they are, because a lot of times what happens with women is our identity is attached to our husband, our children, our, you know, what we do for a living. So instead of them really being attached to who they are, you know, mothers oftentimes you know, we just go. And this is not something that's foreign to me. I am the mother of 8. I have 4 children that I've yes. And then I have some bonus babies. Me and my husband together, we have 8 children, and they're all under our roof. So you know, and the guardian of all of these children, and I'm the mother of all these children. And it's really easy for me for that to be my leading, you know, when somebody asks, who are you, Tamika? That's really easy for me to be the leading thing that I do, because it is very present in my day-to-day life. But I walk women through knowing that there's so much more, and we can't be everything to our husbands and to our children if we don't know and love ourselves.
So just to give people a little bit of understanding, a little bit of background about you, because what you said, how to teach and love yourself, is very important. But you're not just like some person says, hey, I'm a life coach. Like, how did you fall into this field? You've been doing this for a while. You mind telling us a little bit about your background?
Yes, thank you so much for that opportunity. So before I realized that I wanted to go into life coaching, I've always worked in the helping field. So I'm actually also a certified drug and alcohol counselor. And that's where I started with my mental health background. So I'm a drug and alcohol counselor. And then I have my degree in human services. So currently my 9 to 5. So on top of being a mother of 8 and having, you know, businesses that I run on the side, my 9 to 5 is now this is a bit of a tongue twister, but I am a therapeutic behavioral strategist, which means that I help with behavior. So I actually work for a school district in the Inland Empire. And I go in and I run what's called social emotional learning groups. So it's really fun, because the work that I do in the school district, it easily translates into my coaching practice, because a lot of the tools and tricks that I use with the students, I'm able to then, sometimes they're actually my first test subject. So I see if it works with them, and then I can use those same interventions with the women that I service.
Do you feel like working with the younger demographic is kind of they're a little bit more authentic, where they're not holding themselves back, and where the adult population is a little more filtered, and not just because of social media, but because we're a little scared and reserved to show ourselves? Do you feel like that actually helps you become a better life coach?
Absolutely. One thing that I actually had someone send me an email today asking me about, some of the work that I do and asking me if I could mentor them. And I told them, if you want to go the route of kids, you have to be ready to be fully yourself, because kids are very unfiltered. They're very authentic. They're very transparent. And it has really aided in me being 100% myself, because they know if I come in and I'm not happy, they know if I'm, putting on, or if I'm fronting, as they say, right? So they know all things, and they will call. I have to express myself fully with the kids. And so I believe working with children and youth, and my target audience at work is middle school and high school. So those are tough populations, working with those kids has really helped me because it starts that young. Okay. It starts even young for us learning to filter ourselves. It starts as young as when your kid tells you that their stomach hurts, and we tell them, oh, you're lying, go sit down, go somewhere. Especially in the African American and Latinos communities, unfortunately, Black and Browns, we have a lot to do still with listening and really nurturing our kids and giving them a voice. So it happens very young, us filtering ourselves, or us, another term that I like to use is editing. That happens very young. It happens from us as a child when we're trying to talk to our parents, and our parents will tell us, oh, you lying, boy, go sit down, girl, go, what, and then so we learn our feelings don't matter. We learn, who we are doesn't really matter.
Interesting. Very, because as a parent, this is kind of interesting. But so you have, because you're bridging these two gaps, right? And so as a parent, you're kind of going, okay, to help women in the present and also help women as they're coming along, and I'm sure young men, what is the right formula to create the ideal lifestyle that person is trying to achieve? Because how do you bottle that up and go, here, I can help you?
It's tough. I think the biggest hurdle is people accepting the help and actually seeing that they are in need of the help. And then once they accept the services, and they accept what I'm able to help facilitate with them, it's a lot of work. I like to call my coaching practice therapy on steroids, because it's a lot of deep dive. We deal with a lot of the inner child, because I believe that a lot of us are walking around wounded children. So we have to start from the foundation. My husband's a contractor, and one of the things that I've learned is, in contracting work, sometimes people want to do add-ons. So they want to add on to their house. They want to get a bathroom. But the contractor has to check the foundation. And if the foundation is faulty, or if the foundation can't hold anymore, then you can't build. So that's what happens when women are in transition. So they want the partner, they want the relationship, they want the new job, but their foundation is faulty. So they're not ready to build on anything until we go deep to the soil of what, they were created. And so we have to go back, and we have to talk about some of the stuff that created the blueprint of who we are. And so that is really foundationally, that's the work that I do. I work on rebuilding foundations in order for them to be, I have affirmations that I send out to my clients daily. I have book suggestions. I have a list of about 30 books that I myself went through. So I totally believe in eating my own cooking. So I'm not going to serve you something that I myself have not ate. So
do you feel like you represent in your coaching business a certain demographic of women, which tend to be maybe of a certain demographic, both, and also maybe successful because they're a little bit in a certain age demographic, socioeconomic? Can you touch on any of that? Like, hey, I tend to focus with this, and I don't know if it's intentional or unintentional.
I definitely think it's unintentional. I believe that we're all mirrors to one another, and so the women that I attract are me. You know, they're versions of me where I used to be, or 10 steps behind me, 2 steps behind me. So those women typically tend to be ethnic women, so of an ethnic background, Latinas, African. Yes. They're usually between the ages of like 25 and 45, and they're, in a higher socioeconomic bracket, or they have goals to be there. So they're degreed women a lot of times. They're mothers. I tend to attract mothers, and women of faith. You could see in my background, I am a woman of faith, and I'm not afraid to share that. And I share it very openly because I believe it is definitely the blueprint. It goes with who I am. And so again, with not filtering or not editing who I am, I shared my faith very openly.
So with women who, I think we can all relate to somebody who's a working professional, maybe doesn't have the lifestyle they want, but from the exterior, people would say, oh, you have the house, maybe the car, you have all these things in a certain social, certain financial background, maybe. At least that's what I've noticed. How do you help that person who maybe to the world, they're showing that they're together, but deep down inside, like maybe they're really maybe lonely, they're hurting, and they're scared to get the life they want because they don't know how? What would you say to that person?
I would tell them that within my coaching practice, we focus on holistic success. So success on the outside, where you have the car, you have the house, maybe you even got the man, but you're not happy. It's not holistic. It's not true. It's not authentic. It's not real. So in order for us to live fulfilled life and holistic lives, we have to work on the whole person, because again, we're so much more than the things that we do. We're so much more than our title at work. We're so much more than the neighborhood that we live in, the car that we drive. But who are we at the core? And that's the person that we go to sleep with every night, our own self. Are we happy with that person? And I would say, this is not a hard statistic, so don't quote me, but I would say between 65 and 75% of the population are walking around and they're not happy with who they are.
Yeah, sometimes certain demographics might be more, depending on what they kind of decide and their direction they go in their life. So you have all these things, and people are trying to transition and help out. Do you have a course that you actually teach? Is this a live course, or what is it you do?
It is an evergreen course, so it is. I have where I do have clients that I see on a weekly basis, 1-to-1, and then I have my coaching group program. So it is a good amount of material that I send out. It's 6 weeks worth of modules and exercises and things that women can get into to be a part of the coaching program.
So how did you transition from I'm going to be in a school and I'm helping people out there to I need to take this to the next level and actually help coach women? And how did you make a business out of it?
So working with the kids, a lot of times their parents would, reach out to me, girlfriends, friends. So just to go back a little bit, I've always been that friend, right? So I've always been that friend that people would, hey girl, you got a minute? And they would, talk my ear off, and I would give them such great advice. And that's great too. Like that still is a very much part of who I am. And then they would say, hey, my cousin needs to talk. Oh, my grandma, this person. And I'm like, wait a minute, time was money. And I'm giving all these people, all these gems, all these jewels. And I realized, wow, like I have something. Because I think a lot of times things that come natural to us, we don't realize that it does not come natural to other people. So I realized, wow, I have these resources, and I have, I'm sitting on a gold mine. So, and I wanted to be, I wanted to operate in integrity. So that's why I went ahead, because are tons. If you research life coach on any social media site, there's everybody calling themselves a life coach these days. But I actually went through the certification. I went through the classes and I received my certification, and I paid a pretty penny to have that title, certified life coach, behind my name, because I did see the need, as people just kept, as people watch my life. Again, I live a very out loud, transparent life. So as people started to see my life kind of unfold and me become the woman that I feel I was created to become, it attracted people to me. And then I thought, instead of me just giving this away for free, I should be able to, because I put in the work, I should be able to reap some of that.
So what would be the one takeaway you would say for anyone listening who might be your ideal client or someone who's looking to, transform their life? What would be the first thing you would say, like, hey, this is what I would do if I were you?
I would tell them to take the risk. We're all afraid to let people in. We're all afraid to trust people because of life experiences or things that have happened, but nothing great comes without a risk. So if you are willing to risk, so that you have two options in life, you could remain unhappy, or you can take the risk and see if this helps and this works. And
when you say the risk, what is that risk? Would you quantify?
Yes, that risk is being open. That risk is being honest. That risk is removing the mask that we all wear and saying, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for holistic success.
So if I could challenge you, I would think that a lot of women or men would even say, yeah, I'm ready. I take my mask off every day. Like, what is it that you say, you may think that, but there's something that they're not doing, or maybe they're doing that you've seen patterns of, to recognize that this is the type of person who's really calling out for help?
Yeah. So I would say, for that person that says, you know what, Tamika, I'm good. I do this all by myself. Why do I need somebody in my business to help me through this process? I would say, okay, take inventory. Take inventory of who you are as a person, and literally, pen to paper, write down physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially. Do you feel like you have holistic success in all those areas? If you say yes, you're fine, there's nothing, that you need to add or subtract, then God bless you and Godspeed. But most of us, if we're honest, we'll be able to say, you know what, financially, I'm okay. I'm doing but spiritually, mentally, emotionally, especially emotionally, a lot of times it falls in that emotional track.
Yeah.
I'm not where I want to be. And how do I get there?
So you put together that game plan so they can get their life, take it to the next level?
Yes.
Awesome. And when's the book coming out?
Thank you so much. So I actually have, wow, that just made me have like butterflies in my stomach. So I actually have I have 3 books actually. So I have a book, Lessons Learned from Crutches to Stairs, that's available on Amazon. And then I just released a journal. So this is one of the techniques that I have used for years and that I encourage all my clients to use is journaling. And it's prompted journaling. So it's not just, going and kind of ranting, although that's good as well. But I have a prompted journal that is now available on Amazon. So it is out. I have not told this is the first platform that I've actually told people that the journal is out and ready for purchase. I'm doing a journal launch on April 4th.
Okay.
I turned 40 years old. That's when the journal will be released to the World Wide Web.
Awesome. Congratulations. Awesome. We'll have to talk about some launch and how you're doing that. Very curious about that, whether we record or not, I don't know. But so I appreciate what you're doing. I think you make a difference in people's lives. And if you had to tell anybody, hey, look, how do they get a hold if they need your help and your services?
Thank you. Yes. So you can reach me at Tamika Michelle at gmail.com. My website is being revamped, so that'll be up very shortly. But on all social media sites, you could reach me at Tamika_Thomas or Tuesday with Tamika. I actually have a new podcast that's out as well. That's great. So you can reach me on all social media sites at Tamika Thomas or Tuesday with Tamika. I would love to connect to you. Let's do life together.
That's awesome. Tamika, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. And more importantly, the difference you're making. Sometimes we don't feel like we're making a significant impact, but the little steps that we make in individuals can build up to a wave of difference. And thank you for doing that. I know you don't realize the difference you make until somebody comes up to you years later and says, "Oh, I really appreciate that." And it's kind of weird. So for all those people who have not yet been affected by you, keep doing what you're doing and encouraging people to make that difference.
Thank you so much. That was very heartfelt, and I just really thank you for that.
Want to get more leads through social media, but you're not sure how? What I'd like to do is invite you to our social media lead strategy, where you can get access to how to get leads through social media on a consistent basis, absolutely free. Just go to our resources page at sbwarriors.com and put your information, and we'll be happy to share this content with you. Also, if you're interested and you're stuck on some spots in your business and you want somebody to kind of help you out, we'll invite you to our Small Business Warriors Facebook group, where we share information, answer questions, and help business owners just like you who are stuck on certain areas to help grow their business. Thanks, guys. Keep pushing, SB Warriors, and we'll catch you next time. Woo! Any way you want to be introduced?
Or podcast or whatever. However, yeah. So no particular.
Okay.
Okay.
You might catch it. And you know what? At first I used to be so paranoid, like everything's got to be perfect, right?
Yeah.
And then you realize it's like the more perfect you try to be, the less relatable you are.